Previously in X-Men, when former teammate and original Xavier's school student Angel is kidnapped and brought deep below New York, a pared down roster of Colossus, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, and leader Storm head into the tunnels under the city. There, the X-Men discover a group of outcast mutants dwelling underground called the Morlocks. And Angel is the unwilling hostage slash groom of their leader, Callisto. Kitty falls mysteriously ill, in effect of one of the Morlocks' abilities, and she's rescued by Caliban, a mutant whose stalker-esque love she does not reciprocate. Why can't Professor X's powers help them this deep below New York? Why is Cyclops falling in love with a figurative twin of his dead girlfriend? Why did Wolverine pick right now to have his greatest solo adventure in Japan? See the Wolverine Limited Series episodes on this very YouTube channel. I am Jason Lapidus.
I am Chris Sanagan.
And we are a group of 7 comics. Welcome to episode 87 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic, as we read Uncanny X-Men issue 70 by storytellers Chris Claremont and Paul Smith, inked by Bob Wiacek. Cover date of June 1983. What? Let's first address the not-so-elephant, but the change-up in the room. We were planning on reading X-Men God Loves, Man Kills, but Hoche Anderson couldn't be with us tonight, so we're not going to do it without him. We're going to make sure that happens as planned. So we're pivoting to read the next issue in the series. David Cutler, thank you for noticing right away, and I'm really glad you're here to hang out with us. Also, hello to you, sir. How are you?
David was hot on that, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
It's really exciting to read, let's say, God Loves, Man Kills, the graphic novel from 1982, which is the 5th Marvel graphic novel in the series, and a big touchstone for a lot of 80s comics fans. It is my first time reading it, which is kind of surprising to me.
Me too.
And you as well. So you and I were both very excited to kind of get into that. And I was excited to get into it with another comic creator who regularly posts his love for 80s mainstream comics, Hoche, who you and I have had the pleasure of bumping elbows with a couple times now. And he's keen to do it too. Just tonight didn't work out. So we're going to obviously pivot and continue on because we have 130-ish more issues to go of our ongoing series of kind of covering the Chris Claremont era of X-Men.
130. So that's about just under 3 more years of this, people. Just under 3 more years. So buckle up.
Yeah, it's good. It is pretty
It's
crazy.
going to happen. We're going to do it.
David says, well, you're in my favorite post-burn period of the main series, and I love God Loves, so either is cool with me. Yeah, man, you're like a win-win. I got to say, after reading this issue for the first time in the last hour, issue 170, that is, I can see why you like it so much. I keep seeing more and more great things in Paul Smith's art. And I want to say again, if you're fans of the art, find this edition. His clean lines are even cleaner and crisper here in this version. And I'm really, really impressed by what he brings to the table every single issue. And this issue specifically, I was really, really loving reading it on the newsprint. But there are a couple times I'm like, wow, I bet you it's going to be even better here. And it is just like fantastic. So if you can find the essential editions, I highly recommend that alongside having perhaps the original issue there.
And we both really enjoyed 169. So
we did.
I'm excited for the back half of this.
Good, man. And Chuck, how are you, sir? And Chuck says, Paul Smith rules. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I've said before, my introduction to Paul Smith, I think, might have been the X-Men Alpha Flight 2-parter, and I didn't have a context for it, but sort of seeing, obviously the Cockrum and then the Burn and then the Cockrum, and little stints by people like Murphy Anderson coming in for a little bit here and there, and I've already forgotten his name. Who's doing New Mutants? Who did a couple issues as well. It'll come to us. Don't worry.
Person.
Seeing those different styles kind of enter into X-Men, we're seeing like just a completely different version of the X-Men, bringing in things like, again, influence from manga and anime and animation, and it really, really pays off. It feels like this guy is not pulling from his love of 1960s Marvel and DC alone. He's pulling in from other things, and it really shows up on the page. So it's great to see.
It's definitely something special, and I think you're right. The line work is it's beautiful, and the faces are often. You and I have comments on this. The faces are often beautiful, like they're striking and beautiful. Some of the best we've seen on the characters, male and female, thus far. So yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to get into this. Although, I mean, David just mentioned something in the chat. I don't know if that's you're ruining it for us, buddy. But
this is the issue where Storm becomes the modern Storm. She embraces the use of electricity as opposed to being pre-industrial.
Right. Yeah. She's all tech coils before, and now she's straight into the.
She finally uses her Wi-Fi.
Nice.
Yeah. Speaking of beautiful faces, here are some that are not.
I was going to mention that. Well, I figured you would too, but that was my. So, as Jason mentioned, he read this for the first time in the last hour, and I am coming to this completely cold, just because of circumstances. So, but when this went up, wow, that was my takeaway, was not beautiful faces.
Yeah, I would have expected a version of Storm that was, more classically beautiful and more Paul Smith beautiful. This one looks a little more haggard and crazy. And I wonder if there is a story behind it. I'm just going to look closely. It's got his signature on it. I don't have any insights as to why it doesn't look like other Paul Smith stuff. I think this is a fair assessment. Violence is ugly. Yeah, David, it's a good storytelling point. Yeah. Chuck says, I especially love his rendering of Scott Summers' Cyclops. Me too, as we will see. Remember, Chris has not read any of this yet. No. So, although obviously you're allowed to spoil, we know that
as long as it faithfully follows X-Men the Animated Series episode of the Morlocks, I'm good.
As long as I think it's okay to spoil, but I still want to see, Chris, your reaction. And again, I only read this for the first time within this last hour. We just had to make a quick pivot. So yeah, Chuck says no spoilers, Chris, so don't worry. Everything else good with you this week, Chris?
Yeah, things are good. It's summer. Kids are being occupied and camps and visits and family and stuff.
And you were at a music festival all week.
I was at a music festival on the weekend here in Guelph called Hillside, which was incredible. It usually is. A bunch of great artists, a bunch of acts from around the world, excellent food, outside, swimming, all the things that you want to do. Music festival. Very cool, very fun. How about yourself?
50th wedding anniversary in my family, so we had a big family gathering. Some people I haven't seen since before the quarantine.
Right.
This was really, really nice to see family members. And when I'm with a certain circle within my family, we're all very much ourselves. We have like this rhythm on my side of the family that is a lot of fun, and everyone's relaxed and happy to be together. And it was really nice to see all my cousins. And I only have a few, but they're really close to my heart, so it was really good to see them. And,
nice.
Yeah, and I think I must have watched some stuff that was cool, but I don't remember right now. X-Men. Let's talk about X-Men.
Let's talk X-Men.
X-Men. More X-Men for me. All right, let's do this, bud.
Let's get into this. Violence is ugly.
Oh, more in television ads. Here we go. Stan Lee presents The Uncanny X-Men. Writer Chris Claremont. Paul Smith is penciler. Bob Wiacek, inker. P. Becton and J. Casey are colorists. And I'm going to call out some of their shit in this issue, but it's fine. Tom Orzechowski graces us with lots of amazing lettering. And, of course, we have Louise Jones, also known as Louise Simonson, editing this comic book for the time being. Reindeer Falls, Alaska. The air is still, the valley silent, save for the muted echo of a song coming from the chalet. La-di-da, we're speaking French today. Everyone else, staff and guests, have long since gone to bed. Only this young couple remains to dance the night away. Her name is Madeline Pryor, pilot for North Star Airways. His is Scott Summers, her boss's grandson. This is their first date after weeks of flying cargo all across the state, and both are discovering that it's turning out to be a lot more than they bargained for. They don't mind a bit.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now, I don't know if you know this, of course.
Don't.
But Springsteen, massive X-Men fan.
Honestly?
He's actually going to be on our show later in the month. He's such a huge X-Men fan.
Fan of the show, Bruce Springsteen will be on.
His band was originally going to be called Bruce Springsteen and the Morlocks, but he, decided not to. So, Dancing in the Dark. Here we go.
Okay, so question then. What year does Born in the USA come out?
Senior Spielberg. I believe it's 1984.
Okay.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
So does he he gets the title from this comic? Let's say that, right?
Bold statement.
Bold
Springsteen
statement. Bruce,
ripped off
prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay, bud.
Madeline dancing in her Mrs. Havisham dress. Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on for sure.
Also, little known fact, Reindeer Falls, Alaska is the setting for the action epic Reindeer Games, which we're all big fans of here at 7 Comics.
I like David's comment about the non-union Mexican equivalent, like Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
Good joke.
That was
all right.
All right.
The music ends, but they continue as if it was still playing. The two holding each other close, moving as one, until finally.
I'd better change that tape.
You dance as well as you fly.
Why, thank you, Scott. That's quite a compliment. You're pretty good yourself.
One of us has a dog that doesn't like romance. Trying to kill the mood, eh, Bijou?
I was gonna say.
If only that were true. I lost track of the time. It must be way past closing. I'm surprised the owner hasn't chased us out.
Never happened.
Why not?
Ridge owes me. I pulled his son out of a plane crash last year when everyone else had given the kid up for lost. Well, it's quite the payback. Hey, I need this place late. Remember I saved your son from that plane crash?
Speaking of killing the buzz.
Geez, wow. We could stay the weekend, the entire winter in the best suite in the place, and he wouldn't squawk. Tempted?
Very. Good Lord, she's serious. And so am I.
Scott?
This is crazy. I shouldn't be here. I should have caught the first flight south the moment we met. Each time I see Madeline, I feel the knife twist deeper into my heart.
What's the matter? What's wrong?
And yet, when I'm with her, I don't care.
Talk to me, please, Scott. I want to help.
The only way to do that is to get her out of my life, now and forever, before it's too late. Okay, just putting her in front of the fire, right?
Yeah, right. Are we foreshadowing here?
Well, it's just a great call.
Okay.
It's foreshadowing. It's recalling, like the Phoenix fire. Maybe just give us a little more help on that color. Like maybe make her white around the edges or something to just make her pop a tiny bit more, because Paul Smith's he's like laying it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she only gets the yellow and the fire gets the orange and doesn't ever go yellow or something. But he's setting you up, and you gotta make her pop a little bit better with, like, don't use the same colors as the background. Anyway.
Right. A minute ago, you were so alive and relaxed, so happy. Then you changed completely. Was it something I said or did? I didn't mean to put you on the spot about the weekend. I amazed myself when I said it. I've never been so forward with anyone.
It isn't you, Madeline. And yet it is. There was a woman, Jean Grey. We were in love. We planned to get married, but before we could, she died. I thought I put the grief, the loss, the joy behind me until I met you.
She's me. I must have seen the answer to your prayers, huh, Scott? A dream or perhaps a nightmare come true. This takes some getting used to. I have to think about it alone.
Of course, I understand. By the way, I can't believe he told her. Like, I was totally expecting him to like drag this out, and he never tells her, and she finds out, and then she's mad at him for 10 years.
Sure, yeah.
But he's telling her on the first date, which I was like, this is a good, like, yeah, good guy.
Let's all. Scotty's grown. Scotty's been growing the last 100 or so issues. It's great to see that.
Maybe it's also Claremont, like not pulling the taffy and like let's let this character be a good person instead of using the trick of will she find out the truth for how many episodes. Like, I'm glad, get this done. And then here's my second beef with the coloring. Like,
of course,
you got her by the fire. Fire is this orange. She's a weird orange. Her face is now the pink. Like, you got to do better on this. Maybe the background outside, out the window. That's
you hear that, colorists from 40 years ago? Do better.
Come on, help me out here, guys. Like, you don't put all like the background you make different. That's either purples or blues.
Right.
The foreground, get that fire hot. Get that light on her, and also no yellow text boxes on this one. Like, you got to save that for the content of the panel, not the text box. But anyway. Those are my only notes here. Chuck says panel 3 on this second page has some real Nagel 80s energy. Panel 3. I don't know what Nagel energy is. Who's Nagel? Do you know who Nagel is?
I don't.
Not me neither. Just then to comment about the jacket. It's like a good tweed or something like that, but that's a screen tone. That's like a paste up thing that you stick that on and then cut out the shape. So you get that texture. It's a fun inker thing to do. They've known each other for such a short time, but have grown closer than either would have believed possible. Bonds of friendship were growing into something more. Now, all that is gone. An abyss gapes between them, bottomless, seemingly unbridgeable. I also just want to note, editor missed something. In Tier 2, Panel 4, it says, I though.
Oh, I know.
It should have been I thought.
It should.
But, come on, Louise.
Come on.
There you go.
There you go.
How do you not know who Nagel is? His artwork is synonymous with the 80s. I might know his artwork, but do not know his name. He's synonymous with the 80s in terms of overall pop culture or 80s comics? I'll look him up after, but right now, let's get going with... I'll check it out later. I'm interested, of course. This was the smart play. To inflict a little pain, to spare us both a tragedy later on. So how come I feel as if I just made the biggest mistake of my life? Am I chasing ghosts? Yes. Trying to resurrect something better left in peace? Yes.
Yes.
Except I care for her. I enjoy being with her. Do I deny those feelings? Yes. One thing's certain. I'll never learn anything by running away. Madeline. Oh.
Hi.
Yourself. Can we talk?
Well, that's why I came back. I'm sorry I startled you.
It's okay, Madeline. I like you a lot.
Because of who I am or who I look like?
I don't know. I'd like to find out.
Fair enough. I just switched tapes. How about we start with another dance?
2 things. First, let's explain what tapes are.
For
those of you too young to know what a cassette tape is, look it up somewhere else. It's fun. But I also really like how he was honest here. She's like, Do you like me because I remind you of her, or do you like me for me? And he's like, actually, I'm not sure yet. Man, way to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I would have lied, and run.
That's another Bruce Springsteen song.
I was going to say, no, that's from Joel Plaskett 3. Lied. Because run.
Run.
Run. Now, we're going to criticize, I guess, Paul Smith on this one. This panel on the middle tier, panel 3. We know this is like a photocopy, high contrast photocopy of something that's pasted up.
Of something, yeah.
This is buildings and a reflection, and I can see the,
water,
the bridge.
Yeah,
the reflection of the river. This did not work in print.
It did not. It did not work.
It's funny to see when it doesn't work, because it is the right strategy, or it could be the right strategy, but it so rarely goes off this badly. Yeah. Okay. Chuck says, not comics, mainly commercial art. A lot of I'm sure we've seen. I'll check it out. David says, do you like me for me? Not because I'm hot like Leonardo, or the guy who played in Fargo. I think his name was Steve. And I wish I had a hood right now. I could take the hood down and say, hello there. Hello, toying around. Welcome back from San Diego. Go deal with your dog. It's all good. Hope you had a good time in San Diego, Kevin, and welcome back to Canada. Hope you're well, and nice to have you here. The coloring on Scott in that middle panel is something. You like the fact that the sort of the gray purples were added to put him on a different plane than her, or do you think it doesn't work for you? For me, it works if the colorist uses it more than once. Like if the idea that one of the characters can step into the shadow or step out of the shadow, that works for me, as long as it's not sort of a sudden thing. But it does work, I think, to put Madeline Pryor in the focus. She's the color focal point of that panel. So for me, there it works. And I do like that shadow treatment. I'm a fan. But if it comes out of nowhere, it can also be like a little weird. David Cutler says, 90s one-hit wonder. You guys fail me. Yeah, man. We fail you. Sure. No problem. I don't remember that 90s one-hit song. I was doing other things in the 90s, like listening to music from the 60s. Chuck says, I get the idea. The execution is wrong. He looks like a corpse. I hear you. Like I'm saying, I think it works better if you know that there is shadow there, and that you can see where the shadow is through also the background lighting or something else in the establishing shot. So you can see he's either in it or out of it. But yeah, if it's not set up otherwise, it kind of comes out of nowhere, and he does look dead or corpse-ish. I hear you. Sometimes, David, we fail you because I'm reading it like it's a comment. You have to put music notes around it or put it in quotations. Because I go reading it not knowing I'm supposed to be thinking of it as a musical thing. And music for me is also very much about the tune. So I have a tough time with that game. But I keep playing it. Maybe I'll get better over time. New York City, 1,000 feet beneath Manhattan's teeming streets. In a monstrous tunnel carved out of the living bedrock, a wedding procession makes its way to the altar. The bride is Callisto, leader of a pack of renegade mutants she christened Morlocks. Her groom is, to her, the most beautiful man in the world that she could find within a 12-block radius, Warren Worthington III, the high-flying angel. To get him here, she kidnapped him. To keep him, she clipped his wings. Whoa, that is heavy.
That does sound heavy.
Blessed Union of Souls was the band.
Okay.
I love David. David's the best. And when his fellow X-Men, also mutants, came to his rescue, she took them prisoner.
Ooh. Comfy. Go ahead.
I'm going to admit something, and it's going to make... I have to say this before Jason Lowe gets here, because it'll upset him.
Oh.
When I was a kid, and Strong Guy started to appear in X-Books, I did not know if he was Sunder or not.
Oh.
And I didn't know if he was Sunder with a superhero name.
Right.
As opposed to a Morlocks name. Because when I was, as the 80s came round toward the end, a couple of the Morlocks were making their way out of the Morlocks, like Artie and Leech, and like Rusty and Skids, like they were, and Boom Boom, like they were kind of. I know those weren't Morlocks, those three, but they were like street kids.
Yeah.
So there was this movement of bringing in like this kind of street kid and Morlocks into X-Men more, and so I wasn't sure if Sunder was Strong Guy, but I don't want to hurt his feelings by trashing Strong Guy.
By trashing Strong Guy.
But you know, different artists, sometimes they start drawing someone handsome.
Totally.
Yeah. David says it's been a while, but Claremont is back on his bondage bullshit. Feels like coming home.
I was going to make that comment on the bondage stuff coming out of Angel there. It's on top of him. And, you know, and she's in a ripped up wedding dress. I just noticed that now. I mean,
she looks cool.
She's keeping the character, but, you know, she's, I mean, I guess, oh, wow.
I think this is Paul Smith flexing too, right? Like,
yeah.
We don't know how much
Claremont
is on the. It's okay. We both have dogs, as you guys know, and something must be bugging Bijou. Bijou is a barker, and my dog is a little sweetie pie. So he's nice and quiet tonight. Paul Smith is bringing a lot to this. Like there's quite a bit of detail in that setup too. And hey, man, good for him. You know, maybe you got to do some fun research to figure out how to do this.
Totally.
Chuck says she looks like she just stepped off the set of a Billy Idol video. Yeah, she found her wedding dress in a.
How many musical references can we pack into this episode? We've got Bruce. We've got Billy.
Wedding. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, little sister.
So are you? Oh, there you go. David got you.
There you got me.
Nice. Well done. Who's your angel man? Very good. Very good. I can't remember. Did you read Callisto or did I?
I read her.
Do you want to keep going?
Sure. Comfy, my pretty. Looking forward to our wedding night? I certainly am.
Callisto, stop! Angel is a human being, not some pet or toy. You have no right to treat him like this.
Is that? Oh, it's Sunder.
Silence, outsider. Callisto rules here. She may do whatever she wishes with him, Storm, or you.
Ow!
In that case, Herr Sunder, perhaps it's time Callisto's rule was brought to an end. She's mine. Colossus, can you handle the rest?
It will be my pleasure, Nightcrawler.
An explosive burst of brimstone and fire heralds Nightcrawler's departure as he teleports out of his bonds, while his Russian teammate transforms from flesh and blood to super strong organic steel. Awesome panel.
Awesome.
I like Nightcrawler's body language there a lot.
It's great.
Party's over, Fraulein.
You're very good at terrorizing those smaller and weaker than you, Sunder. Let us see how well you fare against someone your own size.
I don't like how both of his arms are on the same plane there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's hard to.
It could have been maybe more dynamic or expressive or clear, but it's a bit of an odd one. It's okay. We have made a fair start, but we are three facing God knows how many. I must equalize those odds. Fortunately, this tunnel is vast enough to enable me to generate the wild weather patterns I require. As Storm's mental command, lightning flares about her, scattering the crowd. And then look at this face on her. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, yeah. Just, she kind of leveled up on intensity in a moment there. It's good. The longer we stay, the greater our danger. We have to free Angel and make our escape, while we still have the chance. And there's like the little acting thing of like her rubbing her hands together.
Yeah.
You know, just those little pieces are really good. Yeah, excellent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Enjoying the trip, Callisto? I am used to teleporting with passengers, and I find the strain almost as much as I can bear. I can imagine what it must be like for you. Morlocks, behold your mistress, if you would have her live. Release Angel and allow me and my friends to depart in peace.
No, don't hurt her, please.
You heard the terms, Sunder. But if they call Nightcrawler's bluff, what then? Even if we get out of here, there is still Kitty to find. She could be anywhere in this labyrinth, and we have no means of locating her. Who, what are these Morlocks? Sunder still stands after trading punches with Colossus. No normal man could do that. Eh?
Don't be frightened, dearie. What harm could a little old lady do?
By the way, do you notice how the top tier is the word Banff?
Oh, now I do.
Nice,
That's
eh?
cool.
It's fun.
I also like seeing Nightcrawler go kind of,
Yes.
intense, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
I could watch these 3 X-Men take on an army any day of the week.
Oh,
Just these, yeah.
just tell me about it now.
3 of my absolute favorite.
A little old lady whose name is Plague. Shoes on the other foot now, ain't it?
Ugh.
You got Callisto. I've got Storm. Her fever's temporary. She'll be sick as a dog, but she'll survive. I touch her again, she'll die in agony. Give up, pretty boy, or I'll do it.
We have no choice. The X-Men do not kill. I could go for help, but who knows what would happen to Aurora and Peter while I was gone. It's better that I stay to learn everything I can about the Morlocks and wait for a chance to help us all.
Same goes for you too, big fella.
I yield.
Awesome panel.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Hey, Cal. I got some polymer cable even Cinder couldn't break. That should hold the Chin Man, but what about the demon? He can disappear out of anything.
What a look on that character.
Yeah, he spent some time on that.
A look on that character.
So long as we hold his friends hostage, Nightcrawler won't be going anywhere. And when I'm finished with him, he won't be able to. You're a fool, X-Men. Were our positions reversed, I'd have killed without compunction.
Who are you, Callisto? What is this place? With your abilities, could you be mutants like us?
Mutants, yes, but we're nothing like you. We're runaways, outcasts, people with no home, no one to care for them, hated and hunted because of powers we didn't want or understand. Deformed, despised, deserted. The alley here is a bomb shelter built secretly during the Cold War, then abandoned. I found it, made it my home, and made a sanctuary for those like me. Is that, I guess, Nicola? But
Yeah.
how did you find them? With a mutant whose power senses the presence of other mutants. His name's Caliban.
And then I even like these drawings of Caliban. Like, just
Yeah.
looking ahead in the bottom one of Kitty Pryde, I just think, yes, Smith is the boss. He's amazing. Forgive Caliban, Kitty Pryde. He has tried his best, but he cannot bring a fever down.
Am I going to die? I sure feel like it.
Do not say such things.
Caliban, help me. Help the X-Men.
No, Caliban loves you. If he does as you ask, you will leave him and never return.
That's not true. I'll stay. I promise.
How can Caliban trust you?
I gave my word. But I swear, Caliban, if you refuse me, I'll hate you for the rest of my life. Is that what you want?
Yeah, Nick Fury. Caliban wanted a friend, a companion. Is that so much to ask? Someone to share his life, his heart. The sight of you brought such joy to him. To lose you would bring desolation. Yet he dares not defy Callisto. He is no fighter, but if no one stands up to Callisto, the X-Men are doomed. No matter what he does, it seems Caliban is doomed. Kitty Pryde! Sprite Child! I spit all over my book. Elsewhere, total whiplash from changing scenes here, which is great. The shrill wail of a hunting horn sounds through the crisp morning air as gaily clad riders spur their mounts into a gallop, chasing sleek wolf hounds across the heath. The year is 1783. What the hell is going on?
Wow, that is quite the transition.
The place is England. Their quarry, a woman who will not be born for another 170 years. Her name is Mystique, and she's the leader of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. She has no idea how she came to this place, or this time or place, only that she is running for her life. This is madness. I was in bed in my house, but no dream ever felt so real. My foot! The ankle is broken. She'll run no more. As she sprawls into the brook, she hears the hounds, and moments later feels their teeth tearing at clothes and flesh. Do you want to read that, lady?
So I do that. Well, I was going to do Jason Wingard.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Of course. Forgive me, sir. Whoa, Satan, whoa. Sir Jason, the dogs.
I'll deal with them, milady. Back, you curs, back, I say. We're fortunate indeed, milady. The beast still lives. As the first to run it to the ground, to you goes the honor of administering the coup de grace.
Thank you, Sir Jason.
I can't remember when I've had finer sport, milady.
With a smile of pure joy, Lady Jean Grey slashes her blade across Mystique's throat. And the madness ends for a time. No! I live? It was a dream, after all. But what caused it? I recognized both the man and the woman. One was Jason Wingard, a former member of the Hellfire Club's secret inner circle. The woman was an X-Man, Jean Grey, Phoenix. But she's dead, and he's in a mental institution, catatonic, incurably insane. Ouch. My ankle, I broke it in the dream. It's sore in reality. That was no ordinary dream. Someone was playing with my mind. Irene. Now, I see an accent on the second E. Is that
I
like
see that too.
Irina?
Irene.
Or is that the wrong accent? Or I've always thought her name was Irene. I don't know if that's going to stay. Let's just go with Irene until David corrects me.
Perfect.
We'll see. Irene, I thought I smelled fresh coffee. What are you doing up?
I am a precog, remember? Though I am blind, Raven, I can see the future. I knew you would be awake and agitated, in need of a friend.
I pity your talent didn't anticipate my nightmare or its cause.
I should have, but some force occludes my perceptions, preventing me from following certain paths the future might take.
Could Charles Xavier, founder of the X-Men, be responsible? He's a telepath.
The strongest on Earth, but I doubt even he has such power. This entity operates on fundamental levels of space and time itself. Mystique, a timeline has suddenly become clear to me. It involves Rogue. She's in danger.
Upstairs, Irene. She's in her room.
We're too late, Raven.
No! Rogue! Rogue! I never should have allowed her to continue her vendetta against Dazzler.
Oh.
I knew no good would come of it. She was so withdrawn after her return. I feared something terrible had happened. Irene! She's gone. No note, no clothes. Destiny, where is she?
I cannot see her. Rogue's future is denied me.
This is as deliberate as my dream. Nice, David, nice. You got to pick one. Which one are you going to do here?
Ooh, good call. What would you do?
Well, I would do Come On, Irene, because Don't Walk Away, Irene means Irene is the one who's leaving. And in this case, she's like, come on, Irene.
Right.
But Come On, Irene is Come On, Eileen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so is Don't Walk Away, Eileen.
That's true. That's true.
Both Eileen.
It's Good Night, Irene. There you go.
That's right. It is Good Night, Irene.
Yes. Moving on. You know what we're not going to do though?
What's that?
Go back and read those Dazzler issues.
See Dazzler issues.
20. Oh boy, it is really scrunched in there.
It is.
It says 24 and 28. I do have a run of Dazzler, but it's limited to, I believe, the first 10. Anyway, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is taunting us, Irene. Taunting us. But who? Why? On a bus now departing Washington, a young woman stares miserably into the pre-dawn sky, wondering why she's run away from home and the people she loves. While the cause of her flight and Mystique's nightmare, I believe it says nightmares, maybe, looks on and laughs in mocking, malevolent triumph. By the way, Rogue on a Bus feels like the inspiration for the first 3 movies.
For the first, yeah, I was going to say.
Meanwhile,
You should smile, X-Men. I'd hate to think you weren't enjoying the festivities. Perhaps Mask can cheer you up. Mask, Mobile Armored Strike Command.
who do you think, like the festivities, who do you think the caterer is?
Oh, down there in Morlock Town? Like Taco Bell. Taco Bell, probably.
And then like music and yeah. Okay.
Also provided by Taco Bell. At the very least, he'll give you a whole new outlook on life.
Skin so smooth. Features pure perfection. Hate him. He's so yucky.
Ugh.
And what Mask hates, he destroys.
Stop it! She's not a toy. She's a human being who deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
That's so? And how much dignity and respect you think I deserve, eh? I got a great power, you know. I can reshape any face of anybody except my own. And you wonder why I hate what's pretty?
Leave him, Mask. I was going to let him turn you inside out, Nightcrawler. I've changed my mind. You have courage. I like that. And your features brand you as much an outcast as us. And you join us. I won't desert my friends, Callisto. More importantly, I spent my whole life fighting to be accepted as I am, to be judged by my deeds instead of my looks. I won't just leave that battle before it's done. Blessed saints! Brought me a wedding gift, Caliban? How nice.
Some of the best Nightcrawler faces of all time on this page.
Yeah.
And there's so much Arthur Adams in those. Holy smokes.
Totally.
Yeah, really cool. Callisto! Caliban begs! He pleads! Save the sprite child!
Katya! By all I hope holy Morlocks, if she dies, I will bring the tunnel down upon your misbegotten heads. Let me see her, Caliban. I have medical training. Is there a healer among you?
One whose power knits wounds and broken bones, yes, but none to cure the sickness plague brings.
Kitty's condition is critical. We must get her home to the mansion with advanced medical facilities as quickly as possible. You're not going anywhere, X-Man. Not if you want your pals to stay healthy. Here you are and here you stay till I say different. The brat dies, she dies.
She will not change her mind, Nightcrawler. The only way her command can be overruled is if Callisto herself is removed as leader of the Morlocks. And that can be done solely through trial by combat.
If that's what it takes to save Kitty, so be it. Callisto! I, Kurt Wagner, called Nightcrawler of the X-Men, hereby challenge you. You want to go through with it, chum? What Caliban neglected to mention was that these duels are to the death.
Callisto! I lead the X-Men. The challenge, the duel, your life are mine.
Have you lost your wit, Storm? You're barely able to stand thanks to plague, much less fight. There's no time for idiotic gestures. Kitty's life hangs into balance.
I am aware of that, Nightcrawler. But in this, I am adamant as Callisto. Unless, of course, she is afraid to face me.
That'll be the day. Don't fret, Crawler. When I'm through carving up Storm, you'll get your turn. Word of warning, lady. Use your elemental powers, say stray lightning bolt, gust of wind. Your precious kitty's throat will be cut.
I understand.
Great. Shall we begin?
She chucks that knife, spinning. Like Storm is a cool customer. And then, whenever you are ready, Callisto.
That's pretty badass. And then the reaction shot, right?
Yeah.
The reaction shot. Do you see that, Doverish?
A bluff, my friend. Aurora has sworn never to take a human life, remember? Once Callisto realizes that, Storm is finished.
This reminds me of what I should have done for issue 6 of our comic.
Oh.
Like the setup of the duel with the crowd.
Setup of the duel, yeah.
Yeah, also just choosing all that black. Like so much smarter than trying to do backgrounds like every panel or leaving it gray or white or whatever. Like this looks great.
And if you're curious what we're talking about, go check out Group of 7 Comics of Your Tale. In it, Chapter 6, and thank you for those who pre-ordered. It's coming your way soon. In it, we do see a duel between our protagonist, John McCrae, and the antagonist, David Lopin. There you go.
One leader against another.
One leader against another. While everyone watches in a circle going, fight, fight, fight,
exactly.
fight. And then a teacher comes and breaks it up. It's great. Come on, you guys, get back to class.
Now, Chris, I can't remember your experience with pop culture, 20th century pop culture, but can you hear the Star Trek duel music?
No. That one?
There's that one and some others, but yeah, there's one that's like
Nice. Also, I see a lot of like new gen, Klingon battles.
Sure. Next gen,
or whatever they say.
Anyway, this is I hear that some Star Trek theme music here. They circle warily, each gauging the other's skills, strengths, weaknesses. Callisto is a born huntress. Her mutant genes give her enhanced physical abilities that rival Wolverine's. Also, she's fought all her life. She has no doubt of the outcome here, but she means to enjoy herself in the process. She faints. Storm parries. Callisto draws first blood and laughs at Storm's clumsy response.
I almost pity you, Silver Top. You're making this too easy.
And you, Callisto, talk too much.
My arm? Wow.
Storm raises that arm up and sinks the blade in her left hand under Callisto's rib cage.
Oof.
And Callisto drops as Storm walks away into the foreground.
First of all, that second panel, all 6 panels are awesome. Second panel, the face, but the muscles on Storm there?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow.
This character is so far now from, again, like the version that Byrne would draw, having a shower in her garden.
Right.
In the attic of the mansion. Like this is, she's really been through so much. Oh, and I'm really glad they didn't go the direction of like making her a cosmic princess kind of thing that they were toying with.
Right.
Those space issues.
The space issues, yeah.
And also then like the future of her being a sorceress of some kind in the other dimension. Like I like the direction this is going here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And there's so much that John Romita Jr. takes from this.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that maybe Paul Smith is one of the largest influences on him in the near future. Like he really seems to Yeah, take that body language. Like I feel like I've seen John Romita Jr. draw a woman just like that a million times, whether it's in X-Men or maybe it's like Elektra or that kind of hair and that amount of pencil stroke in the hair too. Just very familiar.
Right. It's wow.
Yep.
So you got one page and 6 panels, and Storm is a different person.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, right?
Boom.
Boom.
Colossus, would you take Kitty, please? We shall be leaving here directly. If anyone has any objections, they are welcome to challenge me as I did Callisto and risk the same fate. By your own laws, then, I now lead the Morlocks. Caliban, there is no more need for you and your people to hide. If you wish a home, a sanctuary, Professor Xavier will provide it as he did for us. Caliban knows your heart is true, Storm, and your word good, but this is where we belong. He hopes, though, that from this day forth, X-Men and Morlocks can live in peace as friends.
Only minutes ago they sought our heads. Now they let us pass without a murmur. How quickly, how completely things change sometimes, and people too.
Is Callisto alive?
Barely, thanks to their healer. She'll be a long time convalescing. If not for him, though, she wouldn't have survived at all. He stabbed her through the heart, Aurora. Are you aware of that?
I knew when I made the challenge what had to be done, Kurt.
I never expected that of you.
Neither did Callisto. That was her mistake.
Damn.
Gone. Yeah.
Damn.
I feel like we're going to see this face on Storm for like the next 10 years.
He plays for keeps. Exactly. Yeah. So now she's now leader of the Morlocks by trial.
Yes.
By combat. Right. Okay.
And she's leader of the X-Men.
And she's leader of X-Men.
She's like a queen of New York, of all mutants in New York. It's pretty cool. Dawn. I don't know about you, but I'm starved.
Ridge has a superb kitchen, and I'm a superb cook. Say steak and eggs, rare and over easy. Fresh OJ and tea.
Sounds great to me. How'd you know that was my favorite breakfast?
Simple. I'm a mind reader. Whoa, that's some sun. Mind if I borrow your shades, Scott?
No, don't touch them.
Hey, what the blaze is that all about? You hit me.
I'm sorry, Madeline. I didn't mean to.
Not good enough, Scott. I think you deserve a straight answer. I've never seen you without those glasses. Day, night, bright sun, or pitch darkness. It can't be an affectation. Are your eyes so sensitive that you can't bear any light whatsoever?
I wish they were. That would be easier to live with.
What do you mean?
How can I trust her? I barely know the woman. The smart play would be to lie. Lie, lie, lie. Run, run, run.
Run, run, run.
David's commenting on Scott's hair. You see Scott's tousled hair? How good was that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Some bedhead. And Scott reaches into his right pocket, pulls out a shiny penny, flips up in the air, zip, zap, zop. I'm a mutant, Lynn. As in Madeline.
Madeline.
My eyes fire beams of force. At full strength, I can pulverize a tank or punch holes through mountains.
I'm impressed.
Don't be. The power is uncontrollable. It's unleashed whenever I open my eyes. Only my eyelids or these special ruby quartz glasses hold it in check.
It must be awful for you to be forever on guard, terrified of the consequences of even the slightest accident or mistake.
That's my one great nightmare. It's rare to find someone who understands.
I read the papers, Scott. Mutants aren't very popular. You risked everything by telling me your secret. Why?
Because you asked. And I found I couldn't lie or hide anything from you, no matter what the cost. If you want me to go, Lynn, I will.
The day I want you out of my life, Scott Summers, I'll tell you. For now, please stay.
My pleasure.
I'm glad.
Next, Rogue at the House. Yeah, I like those next. And then we get a fun Coyote ad from Englehart and Aloha.
So what is that?
It's so Marvel had a few different like imprints on the go, including like their graphic novel sort of division. Epic Comics was their creator owned line of more adult stuff like ElfQuest, other titles.
Right.
And I never read Coyote, so I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Buy this book or I'll shoot this coyote. Nice. Bizarre. You should go as Scott Summers for Halloween. Get some ruby quartz glasses.
Yeah, I got that. I get that floppy hair. I can make that work, eh?
Yeah.
But like a Scott Summers who's let himself go a bit?
Perhaps. That's cool. I think,
Sure.
Yeah. And I'll go as Mask or Plague.
Mask. Mobile Armored Strike Command.
The next issue, by the way, Uncanny X-Men 171 is Rogue is there.
Yeah.
And this cover and this issue is actually drawn by one of my favorites, Walt Simonson. He steps in for an issue. Cool. And when we read it, it feels incredibly rushed. Like the line art looks really, really rushed.
Interesting.
And it might be one of those things where editor Louise Jones says, "Hey, honey, can you draw this issue this week?" And he's like, "Yeah." I wonder.
He's like, "For you, babe, anything."
I will do a tiny bit of research and see if I find out anything about it. But I'm looking at it right now, actually. And maybe it was the copy I read. First couple pages look really good. Okay. But it gets really, I don't know. It gets really loose in certain parts.
Gets real dark real fast.
I picked up a replica of this issue at some point. And I was really unhappy with that version of Simonson when I read it. This is not as bad as I thought, now that I'm looking at it. I wonder if he was thinking about Paul Smith at all, like if he's trying to do a little bit of Smith, or if he's just pulling from his natural influences when he's drawing this.
Right.
But no, this isn't, maybe I jumped to conclusions. This isn't so bad.
I'm now thinking of your idea of Scott Summers cosplay.
Right.
Or Halloween. And maybe I'll go with Scott Summers in that suit at the beginning, like the plaid with the tie.
Okay, this isn't bad at all. This is actually good looking. What am I talking about? Never mind.
Get out of here. Friend of the show, Walt Simonson, does great work.
I love Walt Simonson. Hey, listen.
He joined our Instagram live once. We all say that every time it happens.
There's so much Walt Simonson here. I love Walt Simonson. So I don't know why I thought that was a badly drawn issue. It looks really good. Chuck says he loved ElfQuest. I only read the first 20 issues, and I read them as they were coming out. Like I picked them off of the newsstand, starting with issue 1 as a kid, like at the same convenience store where I bought my first comics, like G.I. Joe #1, etc. Or sorry, G.I. Joe 19, and then on. So I read then, and I really enjoyed it, but I got bored after, like I said, about 20 issues. I didn't realize that it was reprinting. I think it was reprinting older comics by a married couple, Wendy and Richard Peeney, and they brought their creator-owned indie to Marvel to reprint in the Epic line. And there's tons of fans. Like it had really early cosplay and merch and stuff. It's like a real underground hit. Very special. Chuck adds, you can always tell Walt Simonson's art. The calves give it away every time. I love his stuff. I mean, I'm a huge fan. Think about him every day. Yeah, big fan. So what'd you think of that issue?
It was fun. It was, it is... Okay, so it's a milestone issue in that it is a critical point for Storm. Like we have now seen a massive character shift, away from the Storm and how it all started, and it's slowly been moving in that direction. And now we've seen that take place. So I'm really keen to see what happens next with her and her continued development. So that's big. We also see more Nightcrawler too. Like last few issues, he's been a bit more vocal and a bit less joking, a bit more intense, but still like that core sweetness.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
He's an ethical character, right?
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And I mean, as much as I enjoy the swashbuckler Nightcrawler as well at times, please. I'm just enjoying this as well. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm excited to read more. I'm sad to know that the Paul Smith run comes to an end at some point soon.
Yes, it is modest. It's a modest run. But it lasts forever, right? And that we can always go back and read issues again, which is a really nice thing. I really like the fact that when you clear some of the characters away, take Xavier, take Cyclops, take Wolverine out, and it leaves room for the three characters and Kitty Pryde is out of the issue essentially as an active participant. It leaves room for Colossus, Nightcrawler, and Storm to be everyone. All the character traits that you need on a team, they have to exhibit. Yeah, they have to exhibit to make the action move forward and to like get the job done. Someone had to get that job done, and so Storm's like, Wolverine's not here to be the killer. Remember, she once volunteered, and he's like, no, you're not the killer. I'm the killer. But when he's not there, maybe she can be another version of herself.
And he's such a powerful presence, and becomes. I mean, he's already a fan favorite. Because we're starting to see, and he's a blended series at this point. And Wolverine almost to his detriment, and I think in the sense of like the team book becomes almost too large a personality for the team, right? Like everyone picks up an X-Men, not everyone, but you pick up an X-Men book, and and it's okay. Wolverine's a great character, but it's like you zero in on what is Logan saying, what's Wolverine saying, and when he's removed and they can't draw on him at all, the other characters, and it's sort of the core trio, right? It's that Storm Colossus Nightcrawler, like. Coming out of a very strong issue for the three of them. And Kitty then maybe becomes the fourth at some point, but she really is out of it, and the three of them get to shine, which is this wonderful. When they get to do it, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I could have. I might have enjoyed it more had there not been. I enjoyed the Cyclops stuff too. Don't get me wrong, and the Mystique. Claremont is just like the master of this peppering alternate storylines as it's going.
Super weird. Like that was, if you're reading it, you're like, right. What the heck is going on here?
If you read one issue, it's insane because it doesn't work as I triggered my I don't want to say her name because it'll go again. If you are reading just the one issue, it is crazy because it doesn't work as a single story. But if you're an ongoing reader, I kind of enjoy that. That being said, take out those pages, add more Colossus, more Nightcrawler, more Storm, have a couple other hiccups or ups and downs in their adventure in the sewer or in the tunnels, and I would have loved it even more. Very cool, though.
One question I have for those out there, especially in the call and the chat too, is without knowing, because I don't know, every issue I read is a new issue from here. Is there with Storm now leader the Morlocks? Does she ever call on them to come and help or in fights and things?
There will be times where it's necessary for her to make use of this. Yeah. Do you want me to tell you a little?
Well, it seems to me it's the obvious. It's the movie where the heroes are down and you think they're beaten, and then somebody out of the sewers launch this second attack, which is
right.
The Morlocks, right?
Right.
That's all. So and now they save the day because Storm's also their leader.
She's gonna put Callisto back in,
right,
as their active leader,
which is
what
happens in the animated series, right? That's right. She beats Callisto, and she's like, "You've beaten me, Storm." She's like, "But you must be in charge of these people as I go topside to the real world."
So there's that
X-Men story. X-Men story.
So that's gonna happen.
Okay.
But she'll pull rank when she needs to.
Right.
Yeah.
It just seems I know that they're outcasts, but they got some valuable power sets. You could
It's also like there's a huge crowd back there. We don't even know
That's
who
what I mean.
we don't know.
I don't even know.
Other than having Sunder
Right.
and his teammates, his ugly teammates. Like there could be
Other
some really-
than having Strong Guy before he's Strong Guy.
Yeah. Who's that? There's one character who can shapeshift, Ape, who can like put his body in some different like he can do a little bit of Plastic Man kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, David says I think that happens in the Christmas episode.
Is that, and then they are in the Morlocks are the ones that are in X3.
Yeah, that's
version.
the idea of
Version.
that. That's sort of who Magneto goes to,
Right.
to recruit. Like Callisto specifically is there,
Callisto's
and then
And there's Porcupine Face Man.
yes, who's in a ton of other genre stuff as an actor.
What's his character in X3? Who's
His name-
Porcupine?
Yeah, Porcupine Face.
Porcupine Face Man?
Oh yes, Porcupine. I think he's Porcupine Face Lad at that point, and then he
Nice.
was going to be in
As a
X4.
sidekick, Porcupine Face Man.
He was good. He was going to be promoted to Porcupine Face Man,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
eventually, but it didn't happen. So yeah, that's kind of who Magneto's dealing with, and I really want to talk about the X-Men movies with God Loves, Man Kills. Like that's a huge conversation, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen this week. We'll
make it happen.
We'll make that happen for sure. Yeah, I'm digging this run, and we do have to schedule in those X-Men Alpha Flight, that two-parter.
Totally.
I think it comes around again, like around issue 200 or something, because I bought that newsstand, so it's probably not till the mid 80s. Anything else you want to talk about before we call it a night?
Yeah,
A short issue.
I can let people know. Yeah, great issue. Let people know that we're just finalizing some of the print details for the Group of 7 Most Secret Tale expanded edition, which I know some
boss.
pre-ordered. Thank you very much. So we are going to get that finalized and printed and signed and sent out to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, we got our final quote today, which is
That's
really nice.
And it's very
fantastic.
exciting. And we've landed, Jason has done such a great job in terms of putting all the bonus material. And there's more bonus material than we even planned for originally. So I think we were talking originally like 10 to 15 pages, and this is about 25 pages of bonus material. So we really hope you enjoy it. It's a ton
Big
of fun.
time.
We hope you
Big time.
Big time.
Chuck reminded me of the obvious thing
sure.
that it's on my list of things, which is the X-Men Teen Titans crossover.
Right.
This is a no-brainer for us, Chuck, given that it is Claremont, Walt Simonson, Teen Titans, which you're a huge fan of, and X-Men, which is the show.
Yeah.
We need to get you a copy somehow.
Okay.
Maybe that one you have to read digitally. So when we do this, if we don't have the scans that are part of the DVD-ROM that Chris is using, then I have to, or I have been creating slideshows using screenshots. It just work of like the sizes. So I just did the whole thing today of God Loves, Man Kills, which was 64 pages. That was like work time I should have been working on 3 other things. I don't mind doing it for one issue. It's not a big deal, but I do find that it is on that Baxter paper. This has been getting into the weeds. So it's on an upgraded paper, I believe. And I hate the colors in the print, and it'll probably be way worse in some sort of digital version. So I don't know if there is another way to read it that's a little subdued.
Maybe we should just spring for the Marvel
Unlimited app?
Limited, and then can you download like offline versions?
I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know if people out there know.
But I'm also concerned that there's some kind of unethical angle to that, like sharing this proprietary stuff, using it like while having the subscription. I agree that sharing it in any way might be not proprietary. Maybe breaking some kind of rule. I don't know. Maybe there's no difference to it. Maybe there's no ethical concern, or we've already breached the ethical concern, and we should just once you're wet, you're wet. You can't get
exactly.
Yeah.
Once you're wet, you're wet. It's your wet. That's what's on my business card. You're Sanagan. Once you're wet, you're wet.
Like if you fall in the pool with your clothes on, and then it's raining out, it's like you're wet. What are you gonna do?
What do you do?
Once you're wet, Anyway.
Do you have anything
Angel.
else going on you want to share?
Sure. I'll be at the Toying Around tailgate in Markham. No, it's in Richmond Hill on August the 13th. It's a Sunday at Heroes World, which is a great comic book store up in Richmond Hill, new location. And our good friend Toying Around is hosting. So I'll be tabling there along with Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, who plays his character on Mando. He's the commissioner. If you finish Mando season 3, he's Commissioner Gordon to Mando's Batman. I always forget that character's name. Forgive me. We all know him, of course, as Mr. Kim on Kim's Convenience. Great Canadian actor. And he'll be there, and Mike Del Mondo will be there.
I saw that today. That's super cool.
I don't know who else is going to be there yet, other than some awesome toy collectors. So people will be dealing with action figures, trading and selling, which I'll be doing too, and selling comics. Hopefully doing some sketches, selling some prints, that kind of stuff. So
Heroes World is the local shop of Ms. Marvel too, right? Canadian actor Mom Delani. So who knows? Maybe she'll show up.
Maybe. I hope she does. It's going to be a fun one, and I'm hoping that our friend Jason Lowe will be there too. Friend of the show.
Jason Lowe.
So it should be a very fun Sunday afternoon out in Richmond Hill, and maybe there'll be some good eats. We'll see. So there's that, and then I think on the 19th, I'll be at Nerdcore in Hamilton.
Okay.
That's as much as I can remember off the top of my head.
It's a couple of good things. Cool.
Did you see Mission Impossible yet? I took my boy last week to see Mission Impossible.
Yeah, and did he enjoy it?
He did. We enjoyed that movie very much. We were fans of the franchise. You still haven't watched?
I've watched 1 and 2.
God damn.
And you know what? I think it peaks with John Woo, so I'm good.
If you have to skip movies, if you have to skip 3 and 4 to watch 5 and 6, then do it. But each have their own.
This one's 7, right?
Value. This is 7.
Okay.
I think I liked 6 better so far.
Okay.
But man, oh man, yeah, you should watch those.
I know. I just haven't gotten around.
And did you watch Secret Invasion? Did you finish it?
I finished Secret Invasion. Yeah, I finished it. Yeah.
Wow, what a contribution that's going to make to our understanding of humanity, life, the arts, and the MCU. If I never watched it, I would have saved some time. Yeah. Spoilers, nothing happens. Yeah.
It's
disappointing.
Yeah.
But I got this.
See, that looks cool.
Right?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, man.
Monica
80s Captain Marvel. Chuck says 6 was a lot better, except for the Fiat chase scene. Yeah, I was laughing out loud, and because it was comedic at times. It's like there's some slapstick in this. There's a Fiat chase scene in Rome, I believe. And of course it was in Rome. What am I saying?
Well, I have a Fiat. Should we try to recreate it?
No.
Okay.
And it was like at times Chaplin-esque comedic, like the
Ben Chaplin. Nice.
It was very good. Good movie.
Good.
All right. Let's call it a night. I'm gonna go maybe watch Futurama with my daughter before she settles in for the evening.
It's good thing to
see how my son enjoyed his hockey tonight because he was playing and I missed it. Cool for you. You the world. All right, let's call it a night. Storm Shadow says good night.
Nice. And we'll see you back here next week. God loves, man kills. If not,
hopefully
171, we'll figure it out.
Either way, it's win-win, bro.
It's win-win, man.
Thank you, Chuck. Glad you could be here with us. Everyone out there, thank you for hanging with us. David, thanks for being here tonight. And you guys are the best. And I'm going to go listen to some Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark.
No, I was going to say Bruce Springsteen covering Dexys Midnight Runners.
Which is something easy to find on the internet.
There you go.
All right, everyone. Have a good one, and we'll see you next week on Previously in X-Men. X-Men.
X-Men.
So much X-Men.
So much.